Hi. Oh,
Hello, everybody. I'm in the process of promoting everybody to panelists because I've
cool.
just realized I can do that.
Hello, it's Eileen.
Hello.
I'm eating dinner.
We'll get started in just a minute. I'm still new at the town Zoom site, and I'm learning how to do this. So, when I, excuse me, I should learn where the mute button is. For information, this meeting is being recorded on the town website. When I logged into the town Zoom account, it said recording in progress. So, Bill, this is mostly for you to tell you that it's telling me that it's recording it.
Yeah, it is.
So,
okay.
There's that. We have a quorum and it is now 6:31. So we are going to start the meeting. I call this meeting to order. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law as revised June 16th, 2021, we will have remote participation by all members of the public body in the meeting of the Great Barrington Affordable Housing Trust will be conducted by remote participation to the greatest extent possible. The rest of the statement is found on the agenda. I just want to emphasize that this is a friendly meeting, and any members of the public who have logged in who wish to talk may do so. Please be courteous or raise your hand on the raise your hand tool, or contact the chair, myself, in order to be recognized. So call to order. The first minute, we're going to pass over the item to approve the December 1st minutes because they are not in front of us. They haven't been sent out to the members, and I apologize for that. We will get them out to you and have them for the next meeting. For the record, we did manage to get all of the meeting minutes that have been approved posted on the town website. As you may know, we were behind schedule for a couple of months, but I think we're now caught up until that December 1st meeting. On my agenda, I put new member vote initiation. We've had a number of people contact us about becoming members, and I believe that one or two of our current members have done an outreach to other people in Great Barrington, and we have a couple of people who are joining us tonight who have expressed an interest or might be interested. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but we are authorized to have 7 members in our committee. The current membership is 4 members: myself, Fred Clark, who's chair, Bill Cook, who's we're going to call co-chair or immediate past chair or vice chair, whatever, John Katz, and Garfield Reed is our select board representative. We have 3 open slots and we would love to fill them. I did hear from, oh gosh, what's her name? Hold on one second. Ananda Timpan. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Who's the executive director of the Railroad Street Youth Project. She is very interested in joining our board, but she wasn't able to be with us tonight because she's under the weather. But she promises that she'll come the next time. So she is interested. There are a couple.
I also heard from Krisha. I thought she was going to be invited. It sounded like she didn't get her invitation or whatever to the meeting tonight.
Huh.
So I told her, I sent her one, but I don't know if she got it in time.
I also sent her one.
Yeah. So I don't know what the confusion is there, but.
Fred?
Yes,
Chip
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Fred? Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes, Shep, I can hear you.
Yeah. I think that's Amanda Timpain.
Amanda Timpain, thank you.
Yes, and she's Phil and Sugar Timpain's daughter. I've known the family for a long, long time.
I'm sure she would be a very valuable resource and have lots of good ideas.
Yeah, it's great to have younger people on the board.
I don't know her at all.
I know her too. Could we perhaps, at least for Ananda, take a vote to recommend to the select board that they appoint her?
I'll take that as a motion and I'll be happy to second it.
Okay.
So all votes, as you know, are roll call votes. So I'm going to start with Bill, who's right to my left. The motion on the table is to recommend to the select board to appoint Ananda Timpain. I don't know if I'm saying that right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Bill Cook,
Aye.
Garfield Reed,
Aye.
John Katz,
Aye.
and Fred Clark votes aye as well. So, and are there any other people on the call who are interested in being appointed? Or do you want to see how we go and come back and talk to us later? Which is fine. Hearing none. We do have 2 more openings, and Bill, as you mentioned, Krisha
Krisha.
is interested as well there. The next item has to do with program updates. I was on a Zoom call with Carolyn Viali of Habitat today, and Chris Rembold, and Brent White from the White Engineering. So I have a lot of information about what's going on.
Great.
I want to start first with 40 Grove Street. The problem of transferring the deed has been is largely on our side, on the town side. And there have been some revisions to the deed and to the documents needed to transfer the deed. So it has not happened, and it will happen. The closing is expected hopefully by Friday or perhaps next Monday. In order to make that happen, they need to get each of the 4 current trustees to sign off on the documents. So there are 3 separate documents. There's a deed, a development agreement has a small change to it, mostly, and a certificate from the trustees that we have the authority to transfer the property. Chris Rembold says that he will have the documents ready by Thursday. He offered to drive around to everybody's house and have them sign them, or you could go to the select board office and sign them. He's very interested in getting this done this week, by Friday, no later than. And so can I ask each of you to either make arrangements through me or through Bill or through Chris, or to go directly to the select board to sign these documents, the select board office on the 2nd floor of Town Hall.
Thursday, Fred? By Thursday?
Yes,
Or on
Thursday would be good.
Yeah, I can do that. I can go to town hall.
Yeah, I'll go to town.
And John, you'll do it too, right? Good.
Mhm.
Or we can come to you. John, can you get there, or?
Think so. I have to just check my schedule, but I think so.
Okay,
Because I have a Board of Assessors meeting. I think it's Thursday, actually.
well, we're happy to come to your house and have you sign on the front porch or something. So
Okay.
that's more convenient. In any case, continuing with 40 Grove Street, there's a porta potty there, there's a dumpster there. There will soon be a sign from Habitat. The sign from Habitat will include contact information, how to talk to Habitat, how to get involved. The rough schedule is that they are going to be putting a press release together, and that will start sort of a kickoff of working with people who are interested. They will be doing volunteer labor. When they did this in Pittsfield, they had people coming from Williamstown and from all over volunteering to help out church groups, labor unions, others, mostly on Saturdays, to help out. They have a crew scheduled to go into Grove Street to do a clean out. And they have another crew scheduled to go in and start to do work in March. The likelihood is that this spring they will be meeting with the neighbors and taking applications for the home, with the intention that the construction work will be proceeding to bring it up to snuff, and the home will be transferred to its new owner. If all goes well, by late summer, early spring, the home will be sold. It will be sold at to an applicant that meets the income guidelines of no more than 80% median income. So that's all in process and working out. It will be then permanently affordable.
Okay, so that was the only question I had. They are going to keep something in the deed that says it has to be affordable when it's resold.
Yes,
Yeah.
they will hold the deed, and they will hold an affordable restriction, so that when, and it includes a mechanism so that when the home is sold on to the next people, they also need to qualify.
Do we have a buyer yet? Is there a buyer yet?
We do not have a buyer yet, but the good news is that it will be open and many people can express their interest.
I feel like maybe I've fallen behind or something, but for some reason I thought the Habitat has met with people from Grove Street already and around the neighborhood. And,
I think they've talked to a couple people.
okay. So, but they haven't officially, if you will. So I guess you said they're going to go meet people and greet people, and it's going to be applications filled out then. whenever then is?
By spring, I mean, we're already in the halfway through winter,
Right,
so, April, something like that.
okay,
They don't anticipate closing with a new buyer until, if all goes well, late summer, probably more likely September. That period.
okay.
The other good news, the second item is the North Plain Road site. The engineer has been working on site. They did all their stormwater calculations and all their site work. They had notified neighbors before they did the survey. They did a wide area survey that was beyond the site, and they have all that data, and they've produced a preliminary site plan, not ready for prime time yet. I reviewed it, Chris reviewed it, Habitat reviewed it, and suggested making some changes. Those changes are going on right now. They had a dead end cul-de-sac. We suggested that we would prefer a loop road that comes around, for instance. There was some changes about open space. As we've talked about before, the planning board the zoning code gives us certain ways that we can develop a site like this. But the planning board specifically has something called a PURD, P-U-R-D, which stands for a planned unit development. Garfield probably is a better expert at this than I am. That seems to fit exactly the parameters that we're talking about here. And we would be using the PURD or planned unit development method for approving the land. This requires the developer, the engineer, to go in front of the planning board and get a preliminary feedback on the site plan. So right now we're looking at going in front of the planning board at most likely at the April 14th meeting. The information would be sent to the planning board couple 3 weeks ahead of time with the the preliminary site plan, or at least the one that we've all agreed on, which is we're not there yet. We got to keep going, and until we get the road laid out, they can't do all of the final stormwater calculations because the road is the main contributor to stormwater runoff. Anyway, we're likely to go in front of the planning board April 14th with preliminary information the middle of March, which sounds like a long way away, but it's only a few weeks away from now.
Mhm.
With that approval of the preliminary layout and the feedback that the planning board will most graciously provide us, we're also going to go to Conservation Commission. At the same time, on a parallel track, Habitat will be having neighborhood discussions in Housatonic, and even hopefully, if the weather cooperates, on site there. Habitat will be bringing the preliminary site plan showing where the green space will be, where the houses will be, where the roads are, things like that. And probably at least 2 house designs. They've done a similar project in Dalton recently, and one of the designs that they used in Dalton, I think they're intending to include as an option for this project. So they'll be reaching out to people. They have developed an email list and planning on doing that at the same time, which means about early April, for that development.
Brett, may I ask a question? When
Yeah,
you
of
said
course.
you'll be reaching out to people, do you mean the citizens of Housatonic, or when you habitat is, what would the house features?
Yeah, it's not limited to citizens of Housatonic. One of the,
But they'll be included, if you will. I guess that
yeah,
was,
absolutely. One of the main constituencies is the neighbors or residents of Housatonic.
Right.
But we want this to be more inclusive than that. I mean, this is all, while it is in Housatonic, it is for the town of Great Barrington.
correct.
So it will be, anybody who's interested can attend the meetings. We will try very hard, or Habitat will try to specifically contact neighbors to get them involved or get them informed, let's call it. I'm just looking here. So the next main milestone for the North Plain Road site is the MassWorks grant. MassWorks is a comprehensive development program that the state runs that will provide the majority of the money to build the infrastructure, which includes the stormwater system. It includes, or may include, the road. We are still looking at Housatonic water system for the water supply and town sewer. So a pump station that would pump along Main Street back to Oak Avenue is this.
Raise
Huh?
question.
Yeah, sure, of course.
All right. When you said Housatonic water, that made me think Housatonic water. Now, is this our Alden's place? Is that going to have the same situation as the rest of Housatonic?
An interesting discussion, and one that we spent some time on my Zoom call today. The engineer is recommending that we consider, or Habitat consider, because Habitat's building it, we're not, a filter system in each house. That he says that it's fairly standard, not just in Housatonic, to put in a filtration system with new construction, and that it's much cheaper to do it up front as part of the construction than to go back and retrofit it later. That there's two ways to do that. One is to go ahead and put the whole system in. The other is to put the whole hookup and infrastructure in, but maybe not buy the equipment, if you know what I mean. It's like the valves are there and you just have to screw the filter on when you buy it. Maybe if there's a problem, you buy the filter, and maybe if there isn't, you don't. I'm a little, I live in Housatonic. This is I don't want to get into the water system because it's just, suffice it to say, some areas are worse than others in town. And, my neighbor 2 doors down it's been one of the lead posters on Facebook with bathtubs full of it, but her water comes from the other direction and mine comes off of Park Street. So, I don't know, the only other option would be for us to develop our own water system or to drill wells there.
Yeah.
I still think it's better if we go with a municipal system and hope the town, the select board solves our Housatonic water system.
Good luck. We'll take care of it.
Anyway, we had considered a filtration system with the potable water. The MassWorks grant is our big deal because that's the construction money that we would get. We've been told that we're likely to get it. I don't know, we haven't gotten a cost estimate yet. So by the time we apply for the money in June, we will have a cost estimate. We will have a layout for the roads, houses, and have a plan of what we're doing. Just to remind you, the plan is to do up to 20 houses on the 7-acre parcel, and to do it in likely 3 phases. So 7 or 8 in the first phase, 7 or 8 in the second phase, 7 or 8 in the follow-on phase, all for home ownership. So, are there any other questions? I think I beat that to death.
Yes, I would like to know where we stand going back to 40 Grove Street as the agency, if you will, as the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Are we still, is that still part of we've handed over this now to Habitat and our hands are clean? Just gonna go on our record and give us a nice look for all those people, the initials, CBC and CDC and CBD? No, seriously.
Yeah, well,
I'm just curious. I am curious.
we transferred the deed. Well, we will transfer the deed this week, it sounds like.
We
Okay.
voted to accept Habitat's,
Right, yeah.
when we put in a request for proposal, we reviewed the proposals we received, and we voted to accept Habitat's proposal. So
Correct.
the lawyers have prepared deed programs, and Habitat gave us a proposal for the property.
That will go on our record, if you will, because it always
Yes.
looks to have nice stuff and feather in the cap, especially when we're asking for
Yes.
money.
So there's 2 ways to do it. One is on the record and one is off the record, but Chris has asked that they put it on our record so that it counts on the town's inventory of affordable housing. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I was just, yes.
It's a little bit more convoluted. It has something to do with Department of Housing and Community Development, some paperwork that has to be put in, but it will go against or go towards our inventory of housing in Great Barrington.
Yeah.
Not ours, not Affordable House Trust Fund, but the town of Great Barrington's.
Yeah,
Right, but this will count, I guess, from what I understand, sometimes I always get those initials incorrect, but it's the CPC who always wants to see something first. Is that correct? Before they want to give us money, they want a plan in hand. I guess I just want to know
That's
this
the next
goes-
agenda item. We're going to talk about the CPC. So, yes, the CPC is much more interested in having shovel-ready projects to fund than funding programs. And in a lot of ways, the Affordable Housing Trust Fund has been an anomaly for the CPC. They don't really know how to handle us because most of what we're doing with our CPC money are running the down payment assistance program and the
Rental assistance.
rental assistance, thank you, the rental assistance program. So I tried to make the distinction of programs are something that we run. We don't know who's going to get the down payment assistance. We know that somebody will come in and want some money. We've got parameters on how to award it, but we don't know who. And that when we give people, or the down payment assistance is a 0 interest loan. So if we loan them money up to 10% of the purchase price of the house, and I think we limited it at $25,000 just so that we could go serve more people. We're leveraging 90% that they get from a mortgage there. So the CPC has always been particularly one member has always wanted to hear about leverage. if we give you this much money, how much other money is going to come
Right,
forward and there? Well, I'm saying you do a mortgage, you put 10% down, you get 90% back. That's leverage. So I don't know if they see it that way. We had, since the last time we met, the CPC has reviewed and approved their recommendations to the town meeting. We applied for $200,000, non-specific to, basically, it's money that we asked for any housing purpose, any purpose that we're there. We, at your request, the request of the committee, the application was written so that it didn't restrict us to spending an exact amount on rental assistance, an exact amount on down payment assistance, or an exact amount in other programs. So we were approved, we were recommended for $200,000. We don't have that money until town meeting approves it. Town meeting will be the first Monday in June, June 3rd, something like that. Then if we are approved by town meeting, which I would say is probably more likely than not, that money becomes available at the start of the fiscal year in July. So,
And it can be used to buy a house?
yes, the way we've written it, it could be used to buy a house or for rental assistance or for down payment
Yeah,
assistance.
down payment, right.
But I would say that we cannot use all of it to buy a house. We would need to, in good faith, allocate a portion of that towards
Right.
a house or land. Are there any questions on the CPC application?
Well, maybe. I say maybe because I attended a meeting. I don't remember, God, so many lately, but I went to a meeting and they were speaking about houses that were either foreclosing on or that the town has, and there's auctions. And I think we were supposed to be aware of that, although I did not know that. Are you aware of that, Fred? I think
I am not aware of that.
Have you heard of that, Bill?
Recently?
Yes, there's.
New foreclosures for tax taking or?
I'm not quite sure, but I know the town has about 6 houses, I think it was. And we're supposedly knew about it or know about it.
Not that I'm aware of.
I am not aware of it.
I read about it somewhere.
Did you see something like that? And I know I'm not making it up. There was definitely.
No, you're not making it up because I read about it somewhere. I don't remember the exact number.
But there are houses supposedly that the town has, and they're auctioned off, and again, they spoke like we were part of that. I might have even been Chris Rembo. I have to maybe check with him again.
I think that would be a good idea. I think we should find out what the story is with that.
Yeah, I do.
I see that we have a hand raised. Dan Bailey, did you want to say something?
I think you have to promote him to.
I thought I did. Promote to panelist. There.
He's on mute.
Thank you, Fred. Sorry to interrupt your meeting. I just had a quick question regarding the North Plain Road and property, and thank you, Garfield, for asking the question regarding the waterworks. I'm sure a lot of people were wondering the same question. But regarding the infrastructure that the Mass Works is going to provide for you guys, do you know, or can anybody tell us for certain that if they build a sewer system or expand the sewer system to that point, that the rest of the neighborhood would not have to tie into that?
The rest of the neighborhood would not have to tie into that.
All we know is what Sean told us.
Okay,
He
because
said that they did not, the rest of the neighborhood will not have to tie into it.
okay, because the only reason I asked, because I know that happened in West Stockbridge years ago when they expanded their a section of their sewer system. The neighbors were required to. So I just want to make sure
It
that
happened to my father when I was a kid, so.
yeah. So
I will tell you that what the engineer has talked to is we are building a pumping station, as you know, as you and some of the others pointed out, the elevation was lower, so we need a pumping station. They are making the size of the pumping station and the size of the pipe large enough so that it could accommodate the neighborhood. In other words, it'll be on the site of this land. It'll be town-owned pumping station, but you know, I don't know. Let's say an 8-inch pipe would accommodate this project. They're making it a 10-inch pipe, or maybe it was a 6-inch pipe that would accommodate it, and they're making it an 8-inch pipe. Incremental increase,
right.
so that they're planning for future if necessary.
Okay.
I think what that was about was if some of the neighbors had a septic system that failed,
Yeah.
they could get an easement from Habitat to connect to this sewer if they wanted to. That's the only reason that's being
Every
considered.
time every time we've talked about it, it's been the homeowner's choice, homeowner's option.
Right. Okay. I'm just making sure that's clear. That's all.
That is-
So thank
Well,
you.
We don't control it. That's the information that we've been told.
Yeah, I know. I know. I just have to ask the question though. And secondly, and I won't take too much of your time so you guys can continue with your agenda. But can you just maybe re-explain the process of when Habitat actually takes control of that North Plain Road property? Because right now it's still town owned, right, and still town controlled.
Yes. Mass Works requires I'm actually not sure, and Chris Hermbold's probably a better source, but as I understand it, Habitat can't apply to Mass Works. The town of Great Barrington has to apply for a Mass Works grant.
Okay.
So I do not know whether they have actual ownership control of the property right now, or whether that's going to happen in the future. I do know that the town is applying for the Mass Works grant.
Okay. So the town still has, has control of the property. At what point is it going to be transferred to Habitat, and is it only going to be Habitat? In other words, there's not going to be a third party that would come in to try to develop that, right? It is Habitat has the exclusive rights for the development.
Habitat.
Yes, of that I can assure you.
Okay.
So the timeline in rough forms, as I understand it, is the engineering is going on now. We got a $69,000 grant from Mass Works last year to do engineering and survey. That work is ongoing right now. When they have a design, including a road layout, they apply for the construction money. The deadline is June 3rd. The award is likely to be, if it was the same as this year, it's around October 1st. We'll get notified whether we were successful or not. And then at that point, we'll have a planning department, a planning board approval. We'll have a site permit. We'll have to put out, the town will put out a request for construction proposals. Based on that money, it'll be legally advertised in order to build the sewer, the water line, sidewalks if necessary, and site drainage and roadway. I've been told that the town is looking at using some ARPA money to perhaps do their in-kind contribution,
The matching, yep.
matching funds that are required for part of the grant. I believe that the town manager has taken some ARPA money and said that's going to be part of our contribution. And in general terms, they were looking for the engineer to give them an estimate of how much that was going to be, but it's a small portion of what's there. We don't know how much we're going to get for MassWorks, but and you know, I want to be upfront and tell you everything I know. If we don't get enough money, they may look at having on-site septic systems instead of a sewer system. On the theory that that might be cheaper. So, you know, depends on how much money we get.
Okay. And it, obviously that would, some of that could change, just like the waterworks could change the plan of the development too. Obviously, if you guys had to go, or Habitat had to go to wells and septic, then you start getting lot constraints and things like that because of the setbacks, right? So that would all have to be-
Yeah, you do, except that this area seems to perk really well. The
Well,
PERD,
you still need setbacks though. That's the
yeah,
that's
you'll
the
need
big-
setbacks, absolutely. But that's highly unlikely.
Okay.
The PERD requires, and Garfield can probably help me out here. I believe it requires 2,500 square foot of open space per dwelling unit. So
Sounds
as a
about
minimum.
right. Sounds about right.
So in terms of the density on the site, you know, it looks like we're going to be in good shape.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you for giving some of those answers too. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely, anytime. I don't see any other hands raised. I thought it was important that before we got too far to cover that. I want to put up on my screen very briefly, if you'll indulge me. Who can share? Only host. Let me see what I'm doing here. You've seen this before. This is dated November 1st, but we haven't had any additional changes. This is our balance sheet, if you will, of money that's available right now. If you look at the far, so.
Could you make it a little bigger, Fred?
Yes, I can. I bought a big monitor, so it looks huge to me.
Mhm.
That's better.
There, I think that's about as big as I can get it and have it still
Oh, that's much better.
show there. So in the left column is the program. The second column, funding source, is the year of the funding, the amount that was authorized, what we've spent it on. But the most important is the far right column, where you can see how much is left unencumbered. And I want to call your attention to, so there's not a lot left in our administrative account. There's very little left in our down payment, our original down payment assistance account. The fourth unit down, we have $35,000 that we have not yet promised. This money can be used either for down payment or rental assistance. It's all the money we have until town meeting approves our new CPA grant, and we can spend it only beginning in July. In other words, if somebody came to us tomorrow with a down payment assistance request, we would be able to fulfill that. But if we had two, we would be probably disappointing somebody or telling them we have to wait until July. So that's where we are right now. Any questions? Okay. You can also see the bottom that we've zeroed out the Alden parcel, North Plain Road site, also known as the North Plain Road site. And we don't have any more CPA money to put towards that. Okay, any questions? No questions. Hearing none. Go back to. So that's where we're at in terms of CPA money. We have had a couple of inquiries about down payment assistance, but either the people haven't gone forward, the houses haven't worked out, or they haven't been able to meet the income guidelines. Just to recall, we allow people to go to 100% area median income for our loan program there. I have not had any discussions with Construct about the rental assistance program. They send us bills frequently. We authorize them to spend up to $100,000. They've now spent around $93,000. So they've got a few $1,000s left from the Affordable Housing Trust that they can still spend until, do we authorize more money? That's where we're at. Any questions? I put on the agenda new programs or projects, including property purchase. And this might be relevant to you, John, in terms of what you brought up about purchasing properties. We have had some discussions, and I think we'd like to develop an idea of how to be more proactive about creating affordable housing through purchasing, developing, owning, or granting affordable housing. Obviously, you need money to do that. And in this context these days, it's very difficult to do anything without money. But we have 100,000 or so now that we could probably free up if town meeting approves. And our intention is to develop a program so that we could, if something comes along that fits in our wheelhouse. One of the things that we talked about was an owner who may be willing to sell below market rate because they want to help create affordable housing. Garfield, did you have a question?
I found my half crummy notes, but from the meeting, it said that there was 12 foreclosed properties. There's 6 properties on auction, something about 3 land renovation, and there's 2 houses that I think they alluded to that we are dealing with or have something to do with. But and I have a little note to you to give you an email, send you an email about these auction houses. That's the information I have. I'm sorry it's not better, but this is definitely again, 12 foreclosed properties. They said 6 properties were on auction because I was inquiring about it, wondering if that's something that we could do or we can vote on. And they almost sounded like, and I guess I'll maybe speak with Chris, that there were 2 houses that we're dealing with. One of them was, I think, they talked about, was it 40 Grove Street, and there was another? Does that make sense to you?
Bill, you're muted.
Oh. No, I'm not muted.
No, you're not muted. Bill is.
We do have Grove Street, but that's the only house that I'm aware of. I was wondering if these are foreclosures or if they were taken for back taxes.
I don't know. I only have it as 12 foreclosed properties and 6 properties on auction. That I'm sure of.
Yeah, well, we should find out more about that.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
somebody
will.
check in with
I
Chris
can
tomorrow.
check with Chris tomorrow.
and
Or
have
if
him
you
send us
can,
a-
you might have a little more free time than me to check with him. Is that
Yeah,
possible?
I can do that. Or
Okay, thank you.
Fred can, I don't care.
Or Fred, yeah. I'll be working all day, so
I think that's great. If that's a possibility, you know, that may be something we need to pursue.
I thought it was exciting if that was the case, that we could possibly bid on some houses that are being foreclosed on or in auction.
Mhm.
Gosh, maybe I'd get them from a song.
So the state has a program for helping out for renovate. It's a very convoluted program for abandoned property. Construct just did one in Beckett that they managed to sell. And basically you have to be appointed as a receiver.
Yeah, receiver.
And then you have to offer it to the owner, and you have to bring it up to building code. The receiver then has to bring it up to building code, offer it back to the owner or the owner's heirs. And if that's not the case, then it can only then be sold as an affordable house there. And there's certain money that the state will put into it. I'm not sure that we could do it. I think we'd have to have, well, like I say, constructed it for Beckett. Habitat could do it as well. There's that. I also want to look, you know, we also discussed private funding. So as of right now, our only sources of income have been, or of money, have been either the Community Preservation Act through the committee, or we had gotten a startup grant from general funds from the town of Great Barrington. I did look into getting ARPA funds, but was told that that probably wouldn't be the case.
Really?
Why?
Yeah, good one. Good
Why?
point.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Might be worth looking into.
There's a lot of money there.
There is a lot of money.
I think there's a lot of money there and a lot of people looking for money.
Right.
So, you know, like I said before, they were looking to use ARPA funds possibly to pay for some of the infrastructure on the North Plain Road, Alden property site. And then there's a few other initiatives I think that they have too.
Yeah, I mean, that money for the North Plain Road site would be a good thing.
It is a good thing. And it's a good thing that it's not coming out of general funds.
Yes.
When you're saying,
ARPA's,
I'm sorry.
ARPA's one-time money, you know,
Right.
it's
Well,
one time.
the other thing to consider is the trust can only buy property without going through the whole 30B process only if we use CPA funds. And it has to be no other funds mixed in with it. So the ARPA money wouldn't really help us to purchase property anyhow.
Till we
Well,
use it for other things.
but Bill, the CPC is pushing us to get matching funds, and those would be matching funds.
Yes, but we could only use that for, well, we could use it for repair and restoration of something that we were able to buy. But with
Right.
$200,000, we ain't gonna be able to buy anything,
That's true.
even at foreclosure.
Right. Not in this day and age.
No,
You don't think we could get something for 200K and even foreclosure?
no.
Well,
Really?
I again say that the 200 also needs to cover our down payment assistance program.
Mhm.
And some of our other program, maybe the rental assistance if that's being renewed.
I think if we want to think about even think about going into the housing business, buying houses that come out of foreclosure, we need $500,000 in the bank to even think about doing that. We could then sell a property and recoup some of that money, but in this market, I don't think we're a player with $200,000.
Okay, well, we're approaching an hour, so I want to keep going on our discussions here. This is important to have discussions about alternate private funding. And if anybody's got any ideas, I had a lead on a piece of land that I was told was owned by two 80-year-olds who had no heirs, that they weren't sure what they wanted to do with it, and they might be amenable to a below market sale. They weren't willing to give it away, but a below market sale if, you know, there was for some altruistic reason.
Yeah.
Well, that would be good.
You know, if we could replicate the North Plain Road site, where we basically leverage the land to build affordable housing,
Yeah.
I think that's a reasonable model.
Yeah.
Well, we could also use a long-term lease with them if possible.
That's a thought.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know, you add it to an 80-year, 100-year lease.
Like a Forest Row kind of thing.
Yeah,
Absolutely. You know, I did have on the agenda request for ARPA money from or request for general funds. And it sounds like both John and Garfield have said that that's what we should continue to pursue. So,
absolutely.
and Bill
Yeah.
agrees.
I
Good.
agree.
Okay. I hear you. I will continue to pursue it.
Just so I'll know, and you'll check out about the housing, right, Fred?
Yes.
Foreclosures,
Either Bill or I'll look into it.
Thank you.
That's about all I have. I did want to see if there was a way that we could set a regular meeting time. It gets a little crazy every month when we try to, and we can change it if we have to, but at one point, the third Wednesday at 6:30 seemed like it was a good time. I think, Bill, you had a regional transportation conflict or something. I know, Garfield, you've got a very restrictive schedule, so
Yeah.
Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays probably are out. Mondays are definitely out.
Why are Thursdays out? That's probably better. One of the better days for me. Monday or every other Monday. Who knows when I'll have the select board. Tuesdays we'll have in the spring coming up. I'll have the relay. Wednesdays coming up, I'll have community impact fund. So Thursdays and Fridays are probably the best days that I don't always usually have something scheduled or have to worry about what week it is, you know.
I
Thursday.
don't think we want to do Fridays.
No.
I think Thursday's good. I'll go with Thursday. Thursday then?
Thursdays.
Thursday's good with me.
I've got a regular meeting on the third Thursday.
Oh, could make it the second Thursday.
There you go.
All right, I will send a doodle poll out and with the strong recommendation for the second Thursday, but you know, we may have some new members as well.
Yeah.
Do any of the other trustee members have any comments, that anything that you'd like to say?
I did get an email back from Krisha.
Yes.
who said that she would also like to be involved, but could not make tonight's meeting because she's under the weather too. Do you want to just go ahead and recommend that she get put on the board to the select board as well?
I think it makes sense if we're going to do these people that we do them at the same time so
Yeah.
that the select board can vote on them together.
Yeah,
So I'll take that as we need to vote again. So Bill, I'll take that as a motion.
yeah.
Again, Shep, I'll be happy to second that motion. Do you know her last name? I have it somewhere.
I've got it. So you've got it too, probably.
What's her name, Bill? What's her name?
Krisha.
Tricia?
And Krisha.
Tricia.
Krisha. I'm not even sure. I can't find it right now, but I'm not even sure I can pronounce her last name.
So there's actually a history here in that she contacted the town, 6 months ago and asked about being put on the Affordable Housing Trust. And for whatever reason, the email didn't get included to me or to others, and it got lost. And so she was kind of put off that we were ignoring her.
Oh,
But in fact, for some reason, some of the emails from the town go to my spam folder, and I've learned to look for them, but I, whatever reason, missed this one. And before you say it, I've put them, I put them in my contacts. So that's not, that's not the issue. It's and other people have had the same issue of group emails from a .org going to spam folder. So I'm looking for it right now, which is why I'm distracted. Yeah, here it is. Krysia, Krysia, first name. Second name, Kurzya, Kurzya. I can send you this. Shep, I'm going to forward you this email.
Thank you. I know Krisha.
Oh, that's right, you do.
Have you called Larissa at all because to see if she'd be interested in coming back?
I have not.
oh,
I know
She
she
was
is.
out of time, but I've seen her.
Excuse me?
I have seen her. I thought she was actually not even in the area.
Yeah, well, I've
anymore.
talked to her lately.
Oh, you have?
She'd like to come back. It's just a matter of when.
okay.
She's helping out with the business.
Right. Well, we should still have her anyway, because we have room for 7. We only have 4. The 2 ladies that are interested would make it 6. So we still could if she still wants it. It'd be nice to have a female brain on the board, or a 3.
Or 3.
Eileen has her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it, Eileen.
I have a question. Does one have to live in Great Barrington?
Yes,
Be on the
yes, yes.
Krysia? He's on the. I think she's on the Agricultural Commission, and I didn't think. I don't know her.
Who's that? Krysia?
Krisha,
Does she
yes.
Great Bar-
I think
don't
she
know.
is on the Agricultural Commission.
Yeah, she is.
You do have to live in Great Barrington.
You do have to. Let me rephrase. in order to be on the Affordable Housing Commission or board, does one have to live in Great Barrington?
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I have her letter here. It's dated May 7th,
Oh, wow.
2021,
Wow.
and I'll read it to you. Please consider me as a candidate for membership in the Affordable Housing Trust. I've lived in Great Barrington for the last 30 years
Mm.
and have observed the housing situation here drastically deteriorate despite all of the town's efforts. The pandemic has made the town practically unaffordable for most working locals, not to mention people on fixed incomes. I myself, as a disabled person who is able to afford an apartment with the help of a Section 8 voucher, lost any opportunity to move as most rents are now double my current rent, even after a recent $200 increase on my apartment. I would like to serve on this committee and contribute my time, passion, and experience for the betterment of the situation. Kriza Kurzia.
Okay.
So,
We like it.
nice letter.
Yes.
I apologize that it took, I mean, I don't know why it took so long. Like I say, that was dated in May.
Mhm.
There's another issue that's come up, and Bill is a little more involved in
Well,
this.
we still have a motion on the board.
Oh, I'm
on the
sorry.
table.
We have a motion. I seconded it. We're going to do a roll call vote. Bill Cook, motion
Aye.
to Garfield Reed,
Aye.
John Katz,
Aye,
Fred Clark, so it's aye. So unanimous to recommend Kurzia to the as
How
membership.
are we gonna do them both? Weren't we gonna do two
Yeah.
ladies?
Well,
We did the one
already
first
did-
earlier.
We already did Ananda.
Okay.
So I need to send a letter. That would be me to send a letter to select board and to the town manager.
Yeah.
Just making a note.
Okay.
There is an issue that we've been brought into, and that has to do with what's been known as workforce housing in Great Barrington. Many of the businesses are having difficulty. You may have seen the sign that the Prairie Whale posted saying no housing, no staff, basically.
almost everybody is saying that, all of the contractors and all are saying that.
It's gotten very difficult. Some of the businesses are saying that they've tried to recruit people to come work for them, but they haven't been able to because of the cost of housing. And I know that what is it? Help me out, Bill.
CDC?
Yeah, CDC is very conscious of this. They've been involved in this issue. There's a one business owner who Bill and I met with on Zoom who talked about this issue. I think many of these people may or may not make more money than qualify for traditional affordable housing, even if it was available. And, remember, Construct has 600 people on their waiting list. And so there's some discussion about what the town could do to promote workforce housing, rental housing, things like that. The other thing that I think you may be aware of is Mark Prohensky, our town manager, had coffee with the town manager on the radio, about a week ago? No, week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And both Bill and I were interviewed and had a very lively discussion about the housing situation in Great Barrington. And many of the people wanted to talk not so much about the work that the Affordable Housing Trust does, but rather how the town could become affordable. Right now, people are comparing us to Vail or to other kinds of vacation spots where we've become so desirable that people who do the normal jobs around town are having a hard time living here. And so I believe there's a Zoom call that Chris Rembold is coordinating on, is it Thursday, Bill?
I
I
believe
think it's
so.
Thursday. And the other thing is, Bill, I mean, I should let you talk.
Yeah, give me a minute. I was just gonna see when that meeting is. It's the 24th, next Thursday. Connecting workers to housing. I think Construct is involved in this too. I'm not really sure.
And CDC is involved as well. There's talk about revisions to the log home site to accommodate this sort of thing. So it's an interesting thing that's going on.
Yeah. And I think they're having a meeting on the 23rd that I've been invited to. Trying to work something out with that too.
Will you report back to us and let us know if there's a way that the Affordable Housing Trust can
Yes,
help out and coordinate?
Yes.
I believe there was some discussion about if there were home ownership opportunities that we could help provide the down payment assistance for people who met the income guidelines.
that's one of the things. I've actually been talking about workforce housing there rather than strictly affordable, and in conjunction with local employers, the hospital, the nursing homes, all the retailers. So that should prove to be a lively discussion too.
I see Eileen Mooney has her hand up. Eileen?
No, I forgot to put it
Knew it.
back down. Sorry.
Okay, well, I can lower it for you. There, I just lowered it.
Thanks.
I thought you were gonna scold me about the open meeting law or something.
No, never.
Educate me. I don't have anything more to say. Is there any other trustee who has anything that they'd like to say? Hearing none. Is there any other people who are on the call?
Wait, can I say something?
Yeah, of course you do.
Sarcastic. Yes, I would love it so we could do something affordable, workforce and stuff before Great Barrington turns into a bedroom town.
Mhm.
You know, Fred, the CDC is trying to find somebody to come in and on the northern part of the Bridge Street property. And they're calling it try to provide workforce housing there.
Yeah,
I
They
have
just-
heard that, yes.
Yeah, they just lost their executive director. She retired, so they've got to find a new one.
The woman from the Columbia County?
Allison
Allison?
Marchesi.
yes,
Allison
Allison left?
Marchesi.
Yes.
She retired.
She hasn't been there long.
no,
She's been there over a year. And she was there before that. She's been there at least for a year full time, and before that, she was there as a consultant.
I only met her once, so.
oh, we have another hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I've got to look over here. James, did you want to have something?
Yes, good evening. Yes, thank you for accepting my call. My name is James from 84 North Plain Road. And I just wanted to say, again, thank you for taking the time and all the work that's involved in trying to create affordable housing. I know it's a very difficult situation at Great Barrington. I just feel that sometimes the different committees are trying to solve the issue with competing priorities, and I'll give you some examples. I know the Finance Committee is trying to do an assessment on taxes, and with that will increase taxes on multi-unit residents, which will increase the rent on affordable housing, which is counterintuitive. I know there's two families that I know of personally who are they're asked to leave their apartments that it's affordable because the owners are converting it into condos, which was approved by the planning board a couple of years ago. So to me, we're trying to create affordable housing, but they approved these condos, but it's eliminating affordable housing, so it's counterintuitive. Another point, the short-term housing issue that's being discussed at the select board, I feel as a general bylaw is being very restrictive and impacting the entire community, where it's going to be unintended consequences, where we should be just limiting it to the commercial interests and the people that are coming in to just make money off hardworking people who are trying just to live in the community and have workforce because the businesses are hurting. So I do hear what the Affordable Housing Trust is doing. I think maybe we should take funds that are being generated from short-term housing and maybe buy properties so we can create more housing for people. And I just want the committees to be more cohesive in trying to create a plan to make it more affordable to live in Great Barrington. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. I would say that we probably all share them in some level or other.
Well, I share them, but I have a funny feeling since people, and I've heard from James just the other night, so it's kind of being redundant, which I didn't appreciate, to be honest with you. And I didn't know if this was the right forum for him to speak what he said. But there is, thought just went on my head. I don't think the people who against the short-term rental are going to be willing to give up money so they can buy properties, is what you alluded to, James. If they're not going to want a 90-day limit, I can hardly see them saying, okay, sure, have some of my money and we'll go buy housing. I don't think that's going to happen.
The reality is that people have property rights under law, and people have made decisions about purchasing homes and things based upon many of those property rights, and we can't unilaterally deprive them of those ownership rights.
I don't think we're the right forum for that. This isn't the time for this. I don't think.
You're right. You're right. And
Whatever.
we have we've been meeting for what, 4 years, 5 years almost. And we have a very specific task, which I will share, and I'm sure everybody agrees, is very frustrating that we can't do more. I wish that it didn't take so many years to build out North Plain Road. I wish that we could do more and more for more and more people, because it seems like we're just putting fingers in the dike and more holes are popping up every day. To murder a metaphor. Is there anybody else who would like to speak? If not, I'm going to adjourn this meeting. And
don't we have to Bill, you know better than I, do we have to have citizen speak time and media time?
Well, I think we
well,
did.
I think I just offered citizen speak time.
Okay.
I think any media here, Eileen is the only one I see.
And I don't have anything to say.
Good. You won't yell at us then. Good.
Much more fun.
Yeah.
Citizen speak, trustees speak, media speak, and adjournment.
Okay.
The next meeting is TBA.
Mhm.
Most likely second Thursday we're going to try
Okay.
in March.
Good.
All right.
Thank
Good night,
you.
everybody.
Good night. Good seeing you guys,
Good night.
man.
Thanks, Fred.
Seeing you.
Nice.
Thank you. Night.